Welcome to the IT Smart Guy podcast, a technology podcast aimed at the modern business owner. And here's your host, Tony Edwards. Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the IT Smart Guy podcast, the tech-based podcast for the modern business owner. My name is Tony, and in this episode we will discuss memory saving coming to Google Chrome and the rise of business email compromise attacks going mobile. Now, as this is the last episode before Christmas 2022, I thought I'd play Santa and bring everyone a little present. So I've only gone and gotten another guest on. That's right, people. This time we're going to be speaking with Pete Matheson, a former IT business owner turned content creator and not a business coach. And as always, at the end, I'll be sharing a tip for the episode. So let's jump straight into the news. Let's look at what's happening in the news. So, Google have recently announced plans to continue the optimization of their Chrome web browser with a set of updates that could reduce memory usage by up to 40%. Now, Chrome accounts for 2/3 of all desktop browser installs, according to the latest StatCounter figures, with Microsoft Edge trailing far behind at 11%, Safari making up just less than 10%, and Firefox with a meager 7%. Now, Chrome is known to be a massive memory hog, and news like this will be welcomed by users of the browser. Now, memory saver mode will free up memory from browser tabs that are open in the background, but not being used, and this will make browsing within your active tabs smoother. But this does come at a little bit of a cost. Inactive tabs will have to reload when they become active again, which means it might not be a viable solution for websites that have to remain active in the background. There is also a new energy saver mode coming. This will detect when a device's battery level reaches 20%, at which point background activity, visual effects like animations and videos will become limited, helping users to eke out as many extra minutes as possible. Now, the new settings are expected to provide significant benefits to those low-powered computers and laptops when they're running low on battery, and when rolled out over the next several weeks, will be able to be toggled on and off in the 3-dot menu in the top right of the browser. And these settings are going to be available for Chrome users on Windows, Mac OS, and Chrome OS operating systems. Now, from Chrome, let's move and talk about business email compromise. So, phishing scams are prevalent right now in the text message threat landscape. Now, business email compromise attacks are going mobile too. BEC remains one of the biggest cybersecurity threats today, and losses from this type of attack has surpassed $43 billion globally, according to the FBI. And as time goes by, scammers become more cunning with the way they lure people in. Now, the flow and nature of a BEC attack in text message format is very similar to an email attack where the attacker will impersonate a company executive. Attackers make legitimate requests, so asking for a bank transfer, ordering gift cards, changing accounts, those sorts of things. And they do it in a way to make it look as legitimate as possible. Now, of all of the requests, gift card fraud was the most common one in the last reported quarter of 2022. What's also quite interesting is that in a report from 2020, it showed that nearly 1 in 4 consumers who lost money due to fraud said they had paid with a gift card. Now, primarily, it's US brands like Target, Walmart, Apple, eBay, Google Play, people like that were the most reported gift card brands that consumers mentioned in these fraud reports. So it hasn't quite hit the UK market just yet. But we've also seen an increase in attackers leveraging mobile platforms, so not just text, but Signal, WhatsApp, Telegram, and social media apps to carry out this type of attack. What's worse is one successful attack could have huge repercussions for a business. So what does this mean for you and your business? Perhaps it's time to review your policies. retrain your staff to work with your tech teams to ensure mobile usage is as secure as possible, as you could have a huge gap in your security strategy. Putting in place a unified approach to protecting all of your endpoints, that includes mobile, is not a nice to have anymore, it's essential. So, that's it for the news. Let's move on to the interview. The interview. Okay, so our next guest is a former IT support company business owner. Now he is not a business coach. He's a bit of a YouTube star, content creator, co-host of a couple of podcasts, and do you know what? He's just an all-round great guy. I'd like to welcome into the podcast, Mr. Pete Matheson. Hey, Pete, how are you?
Yeah, very well. Thanks, yourself.
Brilliant. Yeah, really good. Thank you. Firstly, thank you so much for agreeing to come onto my very, very tiny podcast. I know you're a super busy man, so thank you so much for your time.
Welcome.
Let's start with tell us and like I said, few viewers we've got who you are and what it is you do.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me again. So my name is Pete Matheson, and I used to run an IT business, ran it for kind of 8 to 10 years or so, and then sold it in 2020, literally just before everything happened. And since then, I've kind of done a few things. I started a YouTube channel whilst I was running the business to market the business. The YouTube channel's kind of taken off. That's now probably my main source of income in terms of what I do day to day. And then also where I sold the business, other people then approached me and said, hey, can you help me with my business? So I kind of do this. And the whole reason why it's called Not a Business Coach is because I don't feel like I'm qualified or, experienced or whatever it is. I'm not a business coach. So I thought it'd be fun just to call the company Not a Business Coach. And so, I coach / not coach IT business owners at the same time.
Brilliant. And, it's funny you say how you feel you're not qualified to be a business coach. At the end of the day, you ran a business, a successful South Coast IT business. You got it up to, what was it, 1.2 million turnover? Something like that before you sold it. That's a pretty successful business in my book. So, and, you've done it.
Yeah,
so
I think I clarify it whenever I speak to somebody when they talk to me about doing the coaching thing. I'm like, look, I've done it once. I've run a business once. I've sold it once. I've had an experience. I guess coincidentally now I've actually helped a ton more of IT businesses because now I'm working with a lot of other IT business owners. So that's been really interesting. But it's still still doesn't feel like a job. I guess that's pretty where it comes from. I'm just kind of coming up with ideas and helping people and. Fundamentally, running a business is just making it up as we go along a lot of the time. Still doing it today. Done it for 8 to 10 years already. So I'm now making up as I go along with other people. It's great.
So talking about let's go back to when you sold your IT business. Like you said, it was literally a few weeks before lockdown, wasn't it?
Yes, 2 weeks.
What was Was there a main reason you decided to sell? Was it something you'd forecast and planned for, or was it an offer came in and it was too good to miss?
It's something I wish I'd have planned for, in all honesty. So, we were running the business for the 8 years or so, and we'd always set out to be like, this is us. This is going to be us until we're old, traditionally retired, and we can exit then or pass it on or whatever it might be. And then it just came to, everyone has those days in the office where you're just like, oh, I really can't be bothered with now. Let's just sell everything. Let's just go and move abroad and do all those kind of things. And everyone has those from time to time. They come and go and you just move on and get on with things. But for whatever reason, it happened again, that kind of, it's all happened. Let's just sell it. And for whatever reason, that time we just went, well, what would it take for us to sell? What's the figure, I guess? What's the number? Because we didn't have the number. And, so we kind of sat down and went, okay, well, let's figure out what the number would be, just as a bit of a fun exercise. So we figured out the number, can pay off the mortgage, have a few years off with the kids because our kids were quite young at the time, so we can kind of enjoy ourselves. And so we had the number, and we kind of went, well, hey, if we can do that, yeah, that'd be awesome to sell for for that much. But the only way we know if that's gonna, if someone's gonna pay that is to actually go and find out if someone's gonna pay that. Yeah. So we basically reached out to a few people. Loads of people came back straight away with offers that were way above the price that we'd put down on paper. So we were kind of like, well, I guess we're selling now because that's that's the number and it's above the number. So so we kind of went through the process and sold fairly quickly. I think it really took us maybe 2 months from like the start to finish of the process. And yeah, we exited literally 2 weeks before everyone was told to go and work from home in the UK when kind of lockdown started happening. So it was kind of a really horrible time, but at the same time it was quite nice to get time off with the family and have everyone home. And we've got, it feels really horrible saying that, but we've got quite good memories of lockdown and COVID. Whereas I know a lot of other people were stressed and working through it, and particularly IT businesses like yourself, you just kind of you're flat out at those stages.
That's the thing, though. I mean, I look back on COVID with a similar tint to my glasses, as it were. I didn't my IT business didn't really start until we got locked down. So I was head of IT for a company full time, furloughed, and at that point, my business on paper was set up, ready to go. I was furloughed. That's when I pressed go because I knew if I'd been furloughed, I knew I wouldn't go back. But it was great because I was getting paid 80% to set my own business up, get that started, and I got to spend time with the family.
Excellent.
So I think we've kind of done things in reverse because obviously you set your business up, before your children were born, and then as they were born, my children are 18 and 10.
Oh wow!
And I set my business up, a couple of years ago. So it's quite funny how things.
We kept wondering with that whole thing because being like a one-man band and growing from a small business, we got married, so it's trying to figure out how to do the honeymoon. You had kids, and then you're trying to figure out how to do that whilst owning a business. And so you can't hang around forever. So we decided just to get going with it and figure out the issues and problems and fixes along the way, and until we sold it.
Much like an IT business. So you sold the business. Then we're deciding on what to do next. Obviously, you had your YouTube channel. Did you always plan to give back to the IT business community as you have through your coaching?
I mean, weirdly, none of this was planned. However, together I might look on camera. I'm really like, I don't know if it's like shiny toy distraction syndrome thing where you just kind of see something, go, oh, that's fun. Let's go and play with that for a bit. So the YouTube stuff, that was just felt like a natural progression because I was making the videos. And I guess where the progression came from, we were making videos through the IT business to market the IT business, try and get new clients, much like, we're doing with podcasts and things like that now. But then after a while, we started realizing that we were starting to hear from other IT business owners were getting in touch saying like, thank you so much for helping share your journey and, showing us how you do things. Other vendors and suppliers were getting in touch, thanking us again for kind of letting them inside the business. And of course, prospects and clients got to see the insides as well. So we were already starting to help other IT business owners with the videos. And so it just made sense after we finished to carry on doing the video side of things. Like I'd seen the insane growth that video can do for, I guess traditional YouTubers, like people that have just blown up overnight, got massive channels. They just make their living from making YouTube videos, which seemed crazy at the time, but it's certainly a thing. And so we just kind of, we carried on doing the videos, and they've kind of grown into their own business now. And then with the coaching, completely not planned at all. Again, I honestly did not feel, and still don't feel qualified to do the coaching, but enough people kept asking me if I'd do it. And so we kind of got to a stage where I was just like, okay, this is going to be, this is going to be a proper thing. Let's see if there's, let's see if it's got legs. Let's actually ask the question, see if people actually want to sign up, and we'll do this as a business, so to speak. And so I posted two posts on LinkedIn, and off the back of 2 posts, I was fully booked with coaching clients. And after running an IT company for like 8 years, that doesn't really happen where you just post on social media and like you get a ton of clients all of a sudden that sign up. So it was a massive kind of revelation, or just like wake up call, or there was obviously demand for the help for MSPs, for IT businesses. And I knew it myself when I was running the business. If I was looking for like other coaching or help or memberships or communities, it was all like $2,000 a month memberships or something, which was just insanely expensive. And most of them were coming from people that hadn't actually been there and like run their own business. They'd kind of done the action coach. They've been trained how to be a business coach, but not actually run the business themselves. Yeah. And I'd heard so many horror stories about it as well. So I just thought, look, hey, again, like we said earlier, I've had an experience. I've done it once. If I can help, then I'm here to bounce ideas off of me, or help you figure out what's going on with the difficult situations which we've all had and been through when kind of dealing with staff or dealing with customers. So it's just really another brain, another pair of eyes to kind of help come up with some ideas and help run things. Because I know it as full well that running a business is like super lonely, because even if you have like a ton of staff, you can't go and talk to the staff at the end of the day and be like, oh, today was awful. Like, I hate my staff. I hate my customers. Like, this was a rubbish day, because you just can't. So it's good to have someone else you can kind of vent to and let off some steam.
Yeah, and I think having your coaching class have got you. Then there are the other IT communities. We're both Tech Tribe members. That for me was a blessing, not only because you get access to all that good stuff, but you got that global community as well as the local community where we meet up on a monthly basis for beers and pizza and have a chat. And
I think that's something that's only really come out of COVID, because I never recall seeing. I mean, the Tech Tribe for the IT world was kind of around about. It was around certainly in COVID, but I think COVID certainly pushed lots of businesses together, so they kind of collaboratively help each other now, rather than probably pre-COVID, which was more competitive, not sharing ideas and those kind of things. Exactly that. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. So I think certainly for its good things COVID's done, it certainly helped other businesses share and be more open to trying to help to help their competitors out, which is a weird thing, but it's a thing and it works.
And I feel quite lucky in the fact that the group that we generally go to on whatever day it is these days.
Next week
you're there. Oh yeah, next week curry. Yeah,
curry next week.
We are. So not only do we have beers and curries, but we have good chats, and we've got yourself. We've got Paul, who you finally got on a video, which I love. People that have either been in the IT channel for so long, or like yourself, been there, done it, as well as people that are in from startup, like my sort of area, all the way up to they've got staff and etc. And having that mix and be able to collaborate and stuff is for me, as like I said, a fairly new IT company, has been invaluable.
I think the thing is, like, if you're running a small business and you want help, like, you can just go and ask. You can tweet about it on Twitter, post something onto LinkedIn. Seek out one of these groups. There's so many of them around now for accountants, for legal practices, for IT companies. Pretty much whatever business you can be running, there's a group somewhere online, or at least maybe even in person, that you can meet up with and help each other out with.
Absolutely. So we touched on your coaching, and you've mentioned your YouTube channel and that sort of thing. Obviously, I first came across you via one of your YouTube videos. In fact, it was one talking about the Tech Tribe, because I was looking at signing up, and then all of a sudden, the social media algorithms linking in with the all the other internet good stuff pointed me in your direction. Again, you were local. I'd seen your name a couple of times on LinkedIn, but didn't really know who you were. And it was at that point I was like, okay, and started following you on YouTube and things. On a number of your videos and in conversations we've had at the Tech Tribe meetups, etc., you've mentioned that very few IT companies do video content and push it out there as a way of marketing their business and that sort of thing. Why do you think that is?
Because it's horrible. It's horrible to do video. It's something to put yourself in front of a camera and talk to it by yourself in a room and feel like you're not a complete idiot for doing so. It's just one of these weird things. And everyone goes through the same phases. Hate what I look like, hate what I sound like. Certainly if you've got to then edit yourself and listen to yourself 50 times over whilst you're trying to cut things up and make it look better. So it's that's the massive hurdle. I guess the second massive hurdle is time. People don't feel like they've got enough time to like create video content and do podcasts and all these kind of modern day. I call them modern day marketing, because I feel they're like a newer age of marketing side of things.
Yeah.
So like the way I always see it as, I think I said this last time we were speaking. Maybe it was to Paul, but when you have an opportunity to go to like a networking event, every business owner will do a networking event, whether it's a BNI group or some other kind of networking event where you'll be in a room. There'll be, I don't know, the room might have like 10, 20, 50 people in it, but you're probably only going to really talk to maybe a handful, like 5 or 10 people whilst you're there. And those 5 or 10 people might not even care about you, what you sell, like anything about you, because all the generally people go to networking for is to sell their own stuff. So everyone's out there just looking for clients. And I know there's a very long kind of payoff where you keep going back to the groups, you get to know each other. So then eventually the relationships will flow and business will flow. But for the amount of time invested in that, so you go to a networking event, you probably spend maybe 10 or 20 pounds, maybe on breakfast or drinks or whatever might be going on to go there as well. And maybe 5 or 10 people you'll speak to. Whereas you invest that same amount of time into not spending an hour in the car driving somewhere, for example. So maybe even more time spending the time at home, shooting a video, talking about whatever might be going on in your life or in the business or, a particular hot topic at the moment for your industry, and then post the video online. And I think at this current time of filming, my least viewed video on my YouTube channel from back in the when I was running my my IT business was, I think it's got 40 something views on it. And 40 views of people that actually are genuinely interested in what I've got to talk about because they've chosen to click on the video and watch the video, versus 5 or 10 people that don't care what I've got to talk about. And so whenever I kind of think of that, I just keep thinking, just do more video. I could go to a networking event. No, I'm just going to do another video instead. And I guess on one hand, it's turned me into a recluse because now I don't leave my house because I'm just like, one more video.
Except for pizza, beer or curry.
Except for, things in company. but things like that are, that they just seem so worth it to me. And people that I've seen that have, thoroughly invested in using video as one of their like main marketing pillars, that, they've got to stages where they switch off all other avenues of marketing. Like they don't network. Yeah. They don't do any kind of other groups. They don't do any pay-per-click adverts. They don't do any email newsletters, like nothing. They literally just do video, and they invest all their time and effort into improving the quality of the videos, the topics of their videos, trying to make sure it's got better appeal to their target market, and basically just using video to turn your kind of leads generation machine into an inbound lead generation machine. So that, we were getting to the stage with our IT business where people would just phone us. We weren't doing as much outreach anymore because people, well, like you said, you came across me on LinkedIn and via the YouTube channel, and maybe there was a podcast going at the time. So you kind of, it's this brand awareness. I think that's the key thing. It's brand awareness is something I never really understood before. Everyone just kind of goes, I've got a logo, I'll slap it on some headed paper, I've got some business cards, I've got a website, I've got a color theme. That's my brand. It's not at all. And it kind of hit me when we went to an awards event one time, and someone came up to me who I had no clue who they were, and they firstly knew everything about me and the business, and then secondly they were like, I love your brand, I love what you've done, I love what you've created, like absolutely love your brand. And I was just sat there going, I've got a brand? That's quite cool. And then it kind of just scales from there. So the more you focus on making videos, yes, it is horrible, but it honestly, it elevates your business way above all the noise of all the other businesses out there. Certainly from the IT world, and this is why I'm so passionate about it with the IT businesses, is because no one else is doing it, because everyone's scared. Everyone doesn't want to be on camera. They hate the way they look and sound, that whole thing. So if you can just get over that and film some videos of yourself and podcasts, then you are going to be more visible to everybody else out there than whoever it is down the road that's not doing any of that, and they're just sending emails still or doing pay-per-click. So yeah, I'm a huge advocate of video. Certainly video for me has taken me and my career, and certainly off of a traditional path, I would say, but it is it's a huge opportunity out there in terms of video, and it still is today. I don't think you're late to the game. I thought I was late 3 years ago when I started, but it's still such a huge opportunity out there for today for any business.
Yeah. You kind of covered my next question, which was one piece of advice, which is essentially get out there and do it. And
shoot videos, yeah.
You said that, I keep bringing up the Tech Tribe meetups because I think they're such good value. But you said that at one couple of months back, and that coupled with a couple of other things I had planning spurred me on to do the podcast. This month, I'm trying to do a video every day on the run up to Christmas with different tech tips and little rants and things like that. And again, it's horrible. I don't enjoy doing it, but at the same time, it's really good fun.
Yeah.
And in fact, this week I think I'm creating and editing more video than I am answering tickets.
Nice, good. And that's something that's worth just touching on slightly. So in terms of like the videos you're making now and like whatever you're doing, like podcast and video, half of the thing just to get going is not to worry about what you're creating. Like don't necessarily worry about the quality and what you're shooting or what you're talking about. It's just getting used to shooting videos, getting comfortable on camera. Like I still look at videos I shot 2 months ago and think they look awful. Like my personality on camera is awful. My presentation, waving my hands, or the way my voice sounds still just sounds wrong. And so I'm constantly like every single month I still try and improve things over time. And like you almost need to get, I don't know, like 50 to 100 videos under your belt and try and make just small improvements and tweaks to each time you're doing a video before you should get to a stage where you're like, okay, cool. I'm comfortable on camera. I love doing this now. And, you know, it's opened doors for me. It's brought in customers and leads and those kind of things. Because when I did set out, I was very much okay, I'm going to do this for a year without a single like, comment, follow, subscribe. You know, no one's going to care about me for a whole year until I then decide if it's going to be worth it or not to carry on. Yeah. And thankfully for me, it happened. I think it was around about 6 months we had our first sale off the back of a direct video. But yeah, it takes time. And yeah, half of it's just getting used to it and figuring out the wires and cameras and settings and lighting and all those kind of things.
Yeah, browsers. So the last thing I want to talk to you about really is something new that you've kind of only really launched fairly recently, which is your video marketing course. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes. So the video marketing course came up because I was so distracted by making other things that weren't the video marketing course that every time I spoke to a certain Nigel from the Tech Tribe, he would say, "When's your video marketing course coming out?" And I'd be like, "Oh, it's coming, but look at this shiny new thing I've done instead." And it was literally every single time, you know, let's start a podcast. Let's look at some other videos, you know, all these kind of things. So I finally got around to saying, look, let's do the video thing. Let's make a course. And so now we're going to run it quarterly. So the next one should be, I think, in January, where it's a 3-week course. We might even get it down to 2 weeks because I'm trying to condense the information down into kind of better, shorter, sharper sessions. But essentially, it's just a way to show people how to get started in video. My kind of approach was very much that if I'm going to do video, and it actually applied to anything in my business, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to make a damn good effort at doing it properly with like better quality, making it look like I've actually spent a bit of time and effort doing something. So the course really I put together is how to do that. So how to put your gear and your camera and your audio, make sure all that stuff's right. Because realistically, it's not that important, but it makes a big difference if you do it. So, you know, obviously having a nice lighting, camera and audio mainly as well, so people can hear you. But also what do you talk about? What do you speak about in your videos? How do you edit them? Where do you get your music from? Where do you upload them to? How do you share them online? Like, do you post them to YouTube? Do you not? Do you post to YouTube and then share YouTube to LinkedIn? It's like all those things that are just probably trivial in like the big grand scheme of things, but combined together, they actually make for hopefully, you know, a good bit of education around how businesses can actually use video to market themselves. Because, you know, fundamentally, I've seen, you know, certainly in my own business, in other IT businesses, certainly people that have been through the course as well, I've seen people, you know, pick up, you know, clients literally after doing 2 weeks worth of videos, and clients from one of the guys that picks up clients from an old YouTube channel where he, you know, last made something 6 months ago. He picks up like 2 or 3 clients in a week off of some old videos that just happen to be on a channel. And coincidentally, he was like, "Oh, maybe I should make some more YouTube videos." Like, maybe you should. But it's got such a massive like impact on things that there doesn't seem to be much out there. I mean, there's tons of stuff on YouTube, but you need to know what you're searching for to come across it all, which is basically how I, you know, got better at it over time. I trying to figure out a problem and go, okay, that's the problem. How do I fix that problem? And so over time, I got to this kind of, you know, this stage where I am now. But yeah, it's like a 2-week course, 3-week course, and we just touch on everything. There's homework at the end of every week, which is to make a video, and then we comment on the video, we give them some feedback, ways to improve it, and then they obviously post another video the next week. And it's just looking for, again, that kind of 1% improvement on every single video that they make, so that, you know, over a year, if you're posting 1 video a week, that's going to be a very, very decent improvement by the time you get to the end of that first year. So yeah, it just kind of came out of Not laziness, the distraction, maybe. I'm not sure what the wording is, but I finally got there. I finally did it. So it's out there. I think it's notabusinesscoach.com, and there's a video marketing thing up at the top there. But it's good. There's lots of interest for it, which is kind of the main reason that I want to try and help out, because obviously video is a big thing and not many people have experience doing video. And the key thing, and I'll maybe leave it on this one, is the key thing with doing video is don't make a video talking about like yourself and like the services you offer. Like for IT businesses, I'm not sure, you might be doing some of this as well, actually, but for IT businesses, this is why 5 reasons why you need cybersecurity and 5 reasons why not to click on this phishing thing. It's good to get started. And if you're in that getting comfortable stage, then absolutely like do that, because it's all about getting comfortable. But as you get further down the line, people genuinely aren't interested in that stuff. People don't wake up in the morning and go, oh, I need to go and learn about cybersecurity, so I'm going to go to YouTube and watch the stuff. What they will watch is something that's more personal, something that's about you, something that's about your business, like what's going on behind the scenes, what kind of things are you dealing with, what do you do for Christmas, what are your thoughts around ethics in business, what do you think about, I say, the latest, and you can touch on the latest kind of trending news if it's related to IT. But there's ways of kind of hooking in that without having to go kind of full on, let's talk about cybersecurity, because it's basically boring. It's quite a boring thing. Yeah. So that's kind of my main tip if you're getting started in video. I think just kind of it's fine for the journey, but once you actually start kind of getting comfortable, just have a look at the content you're making as well.
Brilliant. So, conscious we've been on for 20 minutes.
I talk a lot. I'm sorry.
A busy man. No. It's really good. It's really good. What's next for Pete Matheson?
What's next? Oh, I have no clue. I'm going to grow the YouTube channel, because that's just seems to be growing at a staggeringly fast rate. That's the words. The coaching course and stuff, that's ticking over quite nicely. I've apportioned my time quite carefully, so I only dedicate a day a week for the coaching. So the rest of the time is on YouTube at the moment. My focus is basically make better videos. I said to you before we hopped on here, I've literally got a green screen here where I'm doing a VR video. So we're just trying to experiment with some more fun video topics, seeing what it does, and shorts as well. Okay, that's probably one. My focus for the kind of start of next year, YouTube is starting to monetize shorts as of February next year. So I'm getting ahead of the curve, and I'm making some shorts now just to kind of get the traffic up and figure out how shorts work. And weirdly, some of my shorts are like 4 million views for one of them, another one's 1.5 million, another's like 800,000 views. Stupid things that took me 30 seconds on my mobile phone to shoot, considering I spent all this money on the studio gear. So yeah, it's a funny one. But yeah, my focus is just basically more video, better video, more video.
Yeah, I mean, there's me thinking, I've got one TikTok video which I did ages ago, which has got like 1,300 views. I'm well happy with that. There's
that's
a million
good.
here.
That's very, very good. And it's those things like, so my focus at the moment, if you want to just try shorts out, literally try one short a day, because that's what we're aiming for. And they're literally like, I one of the, and depends on the kind of stuff you're making, but I literally had a row of watches, because I've got Galaxy Watch, the Pixel Watch. I've got all the watches lined up with one type of phone in the middle, like an iPhone or a Samsung thing. And I was like, can a Pixel phone charge the Apple Watch, the Galaxy Watch, the Pixel Watch? And I was literally doing a short of every single. That's like a week or 2 weeks worth of videos in just like 10 minutes. So it's those kind of things where you can just make them super quickly. They're very, very low effort. You can post one a day, and one of those might hit it and like become viral or whatever. And then you just pay attention to the one that went viral, and then make more of them. So it's just you need to put enough videos out there in quantity to find the stuff that works.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for, like I said, taking the time out. Looking forward to seeing your next VR video, because that one you did the other week with your week in VR was outstanding. And I think we'll leave it there. I'll put details to your video marketing course into the show notes for when this comes out. So once again, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Our tip of the episode. So before we go on to the tip, I just want to thank Pete again for agreeing to come onto the podcast and for talking about his journey. If you're interested in upping your video marketing skills in 2023, please do check out his website, which is in the show notes. Now, I also want to remind you that the Tech Tip Advent Calendar that I mentioned in the previous episode, episode 8, is still running. So please do take a look at that. My tip this time is to learn when to stop. Here we are, just a couple of days away from Christmas. And if you're anything like me, you'll not stop working just because it's Christmas. But you need to try. Even if it is just for those couple of days. Use that time to recharge. And who knows, that problem that you've had, you just can't seem to solve, the solution may just come to you at the most random of times. Take a break. Your emails will be waiting for you when you get back to work. So, we have reached the end of this episode. I've been Tony, the IT Smart Guy. Thanks again to Pete for his time, and thanks to you for watching and listening. I truly hope you found this episode insightful, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the next episode. If you have enjoyed the episode, please do let us know by leaving a review, and we'd love for you to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. This episode is going out on Friday, the 23rd of December, so I'd like to wish all my listeners, all of my customers, suppliers, partners, people I've met over the past 12 months, a very Merry Christmas, and I look forward to speaking to you all again in 2023. Thanks for listening to the IT Smart Guy podcast. We hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we'd love for you to like and subscribe on your podcast platform of choice.